money. Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. This fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, Dingbat here. Welcome to the season 3 debut of the Philly Shakedown podcast with my man JoeyShakes. Joey, what the hell's going on? I barely remember your name. I haven't seen it so long. What's happening?
Yeah, dude, I'm good. We haven't talked in a while. It's been a while. Like I didn't, the time was slowing down. It gets fast again, and season 3, man, we're here. We are here for season 3.
We are here. Camp is just a few days away. Still no Kelly Greens. I thought for sure we would be talking about the Kelly Green jerseys by now, but we're not. And I hope everybody is doing well. What is going up, everybody in the chat? I do have a couple of membership things here. First of all, Eagles Nation, welcome to Dingbat Nation, buddy. Thank you for joining again. Then we have Chris Scott, member for 22 months of Double Moonwalkers. He says, who, in both your opinions, will be our starting linebackers and starting safeties by the first regular season game? I'm sure we'll talk about this at some point in time later, but I think Nakobe Dean, Morrow, right? Or they're going to play probably a lot of 2 linebackers, right? You're going to have an outside linebacker with Hassan Reddick, and right. Then I think safety-wise, you have Edmonds and you have Blankenship would be my 2 guys leading with Sidney Brown, and who knows about Christian Ellis? I would put him in there too. What about you?
I agree with both. I agree with all of that. I think it'll be Blankenship and it'll be Edmonds and obviously Sidney Brown. See what he could do competition wise. See if he can make some noise, which I'm pretty excited about. And linebacker wise, outside Nakobe Dean, I think it's been one of the weakest positions we have going into training camp right now. There's some rumors right now of maybe the Eagles will add another linebacker. Still got some roster spots available. I think there's 2 left now.
2 left. Yep, 2 left.
So,
we'll talk about that also, yeah. Dalton Gray, member for 17 months, Dingbat Nation, goes, you the man, Denzel, go Birds. Oh, you're too nice. Thank you. And then I got John Lomio. Welcome to Dingbat Nation, buddy. Thank you so much for joining. And then Army 63B, welcome, or thank you for being a member for 34 months of Tinfoil Dingbat. Shout out to you. 34 months, damn. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
And then I got one more, but James Hurd, what's up, buddy? Member for 21 months. Thank you, man. He goes, welcome back, brother. How you been? Pound Cowboys for life. I've been great, man. Thank you so much. Never too much with the Cowboys, though. Come on now. It's crazy. Cowboys already got problems headed into camp. We'll talk about that too. It looks like they're on the verge of collapse. Mark Holmes is on the verge of losing it. So this is gonna be a great year, man. I have a really good feeling about this year. As far as where the Eagles are right now, we did sign Dennis Kelly last week, right? Which I thought was a great move, bringing him back. I think any time you can add depth on your offensive line, it's a good thing. And then we made another signing last night. I saw you do a video on it. I'll let you talk about that.
Javonta Payton, interesting player is a guy got a really good mental work ethic, wide receiver. Played out of community college, went to Tennessee, transferred to Mississippi State, and then became an undrafted free agent a few years ago. For the Arizona Cardinals, played for 2 XFL teams, the Renegades and the Guardians, and now has a camp invite by the Philadelphia Eagles. And really, I think from what I've heard around what people have talked about him is he's more of a special teams guy, good tackler, and a kick returner as well. So add another kick returner maybe to the list going into camp. I don't know if it was him or somebody else, but I'll keep it at that because I thought I was talking about another. There was another guy that we picked up last year too. I forgot.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, anybody that can return punts is like give them a chance. That's how I kind of see it.
Right?
Definitely. System is not a member for 33 months of Throne Room of Dingbats, man. Thank you so much. He goes, how you guys doing? I'm making cheesesteaks. Who want one? I'll never turn a cheesesteak down.
I'll take it.
I'll never turn one down. Dalton Gray gifted 1 Philly 500 membership. Thank you so much. And I believe it went to Underdog Champs. So congratulations and welcome to Dingbat Nation. Thank you so much, Dalton Gray. Clark, member for 19 months of Double Moonwalker. Thank you, man, for the support. Hey, yo, welcome back, fellas. Thank you, man. It is good to be back, man. We are glad to see all you guys, man. It's been a long time coming, man. It felt forever. We were gonna come back July 8th, and there was just nothing going on. And I was in the middle of I redoing my whole wall, so I still have to put shelves up here. But I was doing the wall. I'm making a whole nother place where I'll do videos also. So I was just working on that kind of stuff. And then my computer, it took the shit the other day, and it just crashed. And apparently it got wet somehow. So I don't know how. Nobody has said, yeah, Dad, I spilled my drink. Everybody's quiet. So I don't know what happened. But I just got this computer today. So we have some new intros and some stuff coming, but I can't transfer any of the work that I'm doing on here because I can't get to that stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. But we report Tuesday. We report Tuesday. Let me ask you this. Did you see that the Eagles posted a question on Twitter about should they torture us all week with memes of Kelly Green and not?
I'm telling you right now.
Did you see that?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, these jerseys better look phenomenal. I'm telling you, right? I'm just saying because they're really teasing us real bad right now. I'm really hoping that these things look really good because if they don't and they've been teasing us like this, it's gonna be bad. So I'm hoping for some good news. Hopefully before training camp. I mean, in the next couple days would be nice, but I don't know if we're gonna get them by that time. But we'll see.
Listen. The Kelly Green has been the most anticipated jersey out of all the teams redoing their jerseys. The Kelly Green, and we're the last to get it. I believe they're going to come out with it on Tuesday. That's what I'm guessing now. I thought they were coming out with it on Friday. I'm going to say Tuesday or tomorrow. But they got to do it soon. If they want to sell these jerseys and make money, time to do it's now.
I wonder if they're going to increase their inventory. I wonder if they're going to as much as they put jerseys out in NFL Shop for normal players, whether it's drafted, whether it's free agents or guys that come to the team. I wonder if they're going to triple or quadruple or even, go a lot further with their inventory because whether they sell them announcing a game during the season or whether they announce them now to buy them now, they're going to sell out regardless. So hopefully a lot of people can get them, and that's what I'm afraid of. Not, a lot of people are probably not going to be able to get them.
Dude, so. I get people torture me all the time on Twitter about it. I'll get Phil, this is the jersey they're going to release, and it'll be the yellow, blue ones. Remember?
Right.
I hated
so ugly. They're ugly.
I hated those jerseys with a passion. But it was interesting. The Eagles website, they did a history of the uniform, and nobody believed me that logo has an E in it. And they talked about the E, and it was designed backwards so they can make an E. I tell everybody that logo is face and a giant E. It's horrible. I'm ready for a whole new logo. Well, we'll get to the whole new logo thing later, really.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. T. Patrick, member for 36 months of Dingbat Nation, and thank you for your support. Shades of 500, welcome back, gents. Go Birds. Thank you, man. And then I got Bleeding Kelly Green, a member for 11 months of Throne Room. And Throne Room, guys, we got fantasy football coming. So we're going to talk about that soon this month. But what's up, 500 Shakes? I hope to see that logo behind you on the field as well. I do too, man.
That'd be cool.
I wonder, this is just a conspiracy theory, but I wonder if the Eagles are holding out because the Eagles have a much bigger announcement than just an alternate jersey for 1 or 2 games. We know that they did a new word mark. I don't believe the word mark matches their current uniform at all. So I think you're getting an upgraded uniform at some point. We saw leaked Kelly Greens and we saw leaked aways that could be fake. But did you see the picture of the away ones? I mean,
I
those
don't.
look nice, man. Oh
Yeah, I
my
don't think
God.
so. I don't know. I don't think I did.
Let me, if I can bring it up. I wish. See, it's all on my
Which
other-
one? Which ones of the? I'm trying to remember.
They had two supposed leaks. Now you don't know what's real and what's not. One was a Kelly Green, Jalen Hurts, and then there was a white one that was leaked, and it was a Jalen Hurts, and the white looked like, oh my God!
I think I think I saw the white one. I think I saw you on Twitter put that. I think commented on.
Yeah,
the
I
white
probably
one.
did, but it's all on my other computer.
It's
I can't
really
get
nice
to it.
though.
But I'm saying, like, dude, that would be my white. That would be my white away jerseys already. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It's crazy. Baron says, "I like our current logo." I think what you grow up with, you like, because I think people who grew up with the newer logo, I think people like it. The people like me grew up. I like that one. So I would like to see them just. I don't think you have to. Of course, I'd like to see the alternate color greens, but I want to see them just update the like. I feel like we're still in the '90s uniform. Like I want to update it.
yeah. That's how I feel. I mean, even like the word art, I really didn't like in the beginning. I felt like when I went to a game last year and then like seen it in person, like on the field, like it looked really good. Like I actually like it, but like you said, with the midnight green jerseys, that word art just it looks off because we're so used to of the other word art logo. So it looks kind of weird.
And even the green looks a little different. Like it just don't look right.
Yeah.
System of Nas says Philly 500. I had the same thing happen to me when my laptop went with the hard drive cradle. I was able to save everything from my old hard drive. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to do that. As of yet, I really haven't. But I had some stuff I was working for the Tonight Show for a new background, and we're working on updating the intro, and I lost everything I was working on. VJ, David Super Chat. He goes, "Let's go! Finally, almost football season. How you boys been? Also, thoughts on safety and linebacker." We're gonna talk about safety and linebacker, soon. But I actually am not as down on those positions as maybe some other people. To be quite honest with you, and we'll talk about it. We got about 400 people in the chat between both channels. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're new to the channel, hit that like. Make sure you subscribe and click the link description. Go sub up Joey Shakes. YouTube has been messing with me, Joey, for the last month.
They hate you again, huh?
Dude, I wake up 57 subscribers gone. Wake up. I have a great day gaining subscribers. And I'm like, wow, 20-some subscribers today is great. And somehow I'm 4 down. And I'm like, how could this be? Like, they just love to screw with me, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, I have to be so careful with YouTube. I really do. Now, we are getting ready for camp. We report on Tuesday, right? So we report Tuesday. Practice starts Wednesday. The one thing I'm pretty sure we'll see this preseason is not much preseason of our starters. I think we'll get 1 drive, 2 drives, just like the past 2 years, and most of their stuff will be done in practice. What going into training camp do you feel the biggest weaknesses are, and what are you most looking forward to?
Weakness wise, I mean, obviously linebacker, I think offensively, I feel pretty good. I'm not worried about wide receiver 3 like a lot of people are too much. I feel like with Quez and Zacchaeus, I think they're going to use both those guys. Both of them are going to make the roster, and obviously plenty of other receivers to see within training camp. But with linebacker, it's, they went into this season. Obviously you lose Edwards, you lose Kaiser White. So you go into the season, you pick up Nicholas Morrow, but already knowing that Nakobe Dean is already here, that he was going to start this year. Nice sample size from Nakobe Dean last year, but obviously a lot more to uncover. I need to see more from him. Like I feel good about him, but like I said, we need to see this defensive coordinator, and see how he uses some of these guys. And is Nolan Smith going to be involved in, being an outside linebacker this year? Are they going to move him around? Like, that's why I feel like if they're not picking up a linebacker, is Nolan Smith more involved with the linebackers? Is he going to be cross-trained a little bit to do some different things in pass coverage or something like that, which would be really interesting, because Davion Taylor's been hurt twice. Okay, he hasn't really had a good season since 21. I mean, who else you got there? You got Kyron Johnson. You got Patrick Johnson. You got, I mean, the other kid you said earlier that was making
Christian
noise.
Ellis
Is another one.
Yeah.
That's been making a little bit of noise.
Yeah.
You know, so the safeties, I'm not really. I kind of want to see it, you know, see what happens. I kind of want to see how this all comes together. Obviously, Sidney Brown is obviously, a Red Star player for the Eagles, and drafted by the Eagles, and very excited to see what he could do. I think a nice sample size from Reed Blankenship, and now as a projected starter this year going into this offseason, and obviously having a whole offseason under his belt now with the Eagles, which is good, and I think he'll be pretty good. And Terrell Evans is a good stopgap player, really the second option we got when we couldn't sign Chauncey. But really nothing else behind there I'm really excited about with Justin Evans and Kevon Wallace and some of these other guys. I mean, it would be nice to see maybe the future of Keely Ringo if they want to cross-train the safety, if they want to do something else, maybe make him a contact safety, which would be awesome. So safety, I feel a little bit more comfortable. I just feel like there is a lot of bodies there. We just have to, see how it's going to pan out. But linebacker, I'm not really too set on Nicholas Morrow. I'm not really too set on Davion Taylor right now. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Dan Cilio, shout out to Dan Cilio. I didn't see you in there. I had to give you a wrench so I know. He says, Philly, love the stream, brother. Keep up the great work. Can't wait to camp this week. Always rooting for you, my man. Thank you, Dan. Shout out to Dan Cilio. That's my guy, my paisan. Go have a cannoli on me. You know what I'm saying? My man. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, I get to me, the linebacking, I don't know. I feel like if they have a problem, and the one thing I like about Howie is they kind of get to camp, they kind of see what they need, and they go out and get it. I mean, you think about in recent years, you had 2017, they traded Jordan Matthews, got Ronald Darby, they got CJ Gardner-Johnson last year. They always seem to make moves in camp if need be. I mean, they even traded Stafford, remember, before the regular season. So, or Stinkford, I should call him. I said Stafford. Bradford. What am I saying? Like Bradford could be anything like Stafford. Bradford stinks, dude. I couldn't stand him, Mr. Sleeves. But they traded him to Minnesota when they let Wentz take over. So Howie always makes moves that they need to make. But I want to see what these linebackers can do. They're young. You have Nakobe Dean. We're all high on. Now, is he big enough? That's a fair question. Morrow looks like every year he has gotten better and better. Can these guys be as good as what you had with Kaiser White and what you had with Edwards? I don't know. I think they can. And I think that linebacker is a spot where if you need to address later on, you could address it. Safety, I guess I like Edmonds, I guess. Reed Blankenship, what we saw was good, and I think Sidney Brown has a legitimate chance to start. So to me, I think that I would rather them trade for Budda Baker than get a linebacker. To be honest with you, I would be much happier with that. But a guy like Patrick Queen or somebody, they're out there if the Eagles need to make a move. So I think we'll figure it out. The one of the positions that really concerns me. Two is both on special teams. I think you need another punter. I mean, you need another punter, and then I think you need to figure out if Covey's the guy or not. Are you going to just go in with Covey, crash test Covey, or are you going to try to bring in competition? Because I think having the ability to change the field position because you've got good special teams would be a huge bonus for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think special teams is a big issue. The problem I'm having with special teams right now is obviously what you've just said, but is Michael Clay playing favorites? Is he not not going to make changes? Is he playing too much? You know what I mean? I feel like there's just certain things that happen. Like I feel like the blocking schemes are bad. I feel like I can't put too much on Covey because he was such a raw player last year as an undrafted free agent, but at the same time, I don't think some of you put certain people on the field at certain positions for special teams, and I feel like maybe he doesn't have the right guys at every position as well. Now I feel like as much as I don't think Quez is going to be a punt returner, even though he's on the list, why not try, Devin Allen? I mean, even another guy that should really, maybe make somewhat of a push. I mean, I know he ended up getting hurt at the Grand Prix a couple weeks ago with a calf injury. But I don't know. I mean, he should be good by camp. I don't see why not, unless maybe he needs to take the week off or something like that. So I think there's still a lot of competition at those two special teams positions. And like I said, I like Covey. Like we had we made jokes about him during the year, but I feel like I don't feel like he's as bad as everyone thinks he is. I feel like there's times where he finds that open space and he looks really good. And then there are times where he's a crash test Covey. I like him though. Like I actually do like him.
I don't know. It's like wherever the wall defender's coming down the field, he's like a magnet. He could be running sideways and he goes right into him,
At least he's not muffing punts, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's true. Quit. Number for 3 months of Dingbat Nation. Shout out to you. He goes, our dogs are hungry and we finna eat 100. Absolutely. I think I don't know. I have a feeling that the linebacking position is going to be better than we think. But I could understand that would be listed as a weakness and people would be concerned. There's no question about it. I do think it's a position that there are players to go out and get if you need to get at this point, during the season or in training camp. So I think we're going to be okay. I think Howie's going to figure out what needs to be addressed. And I expect them to make some moves. I do. Jono, thank you for super chat. He goes, I think we should only focus on a punter. Seriously, the field position matters. I don't want us to trade for anyone personally because I have faith. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that the special teams gets ignored, kind of. You can't tell me we couldn't have used a better punter. I mean,
well, dude, if you listen to Michael Clay's press conference, the last one that he had, the only player he talked about was Tyler Zentner, Legatron. That's the one player he did talk about. So maybe he sees something. Maybe he thinks he's the better guy.
But bringing competition. I mean, dude, Matt Araiza is out there, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's not. I know he had issues and stuff, but he was found of no wrongdoing. He was cleared of it. Right? They came out and said that he wasn't involved. He wasn't even there, I think, is what they said. So why not give him a chance? Bring him in. He didn't do it. It's not like he just got off if he didn't do it and he's been cleared, bring him in. The guy's supposed to be a hell of a punter. Right. I don't know why not. Alex Epstein, member for 33 months, Dingbat Nation. Thank you so much. He goes, what's up, boys? Love the podcast. Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think another punter would be huge for the Eagles. I do.
True.
Mr. Internationals here. What's up? Haven't seen you in a while. So this season's going to be unreal. It is. It's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome. But I mean, we'll see. The Eagles have a lot of, in my opinion, we may have questions at linebacker. We may have questions at safety. I think special teams, you could definitely use another punter. But I think they got a lot of young talent there, too. I mean, what if Kobe Dean turns out to be what we think he is? That changes everything about the linebacking position. What if Sidney Brown is good enough to come in and win a starting job because he's good? Or Reed Blankenship takes the next step. So I feel like we might have questions going to camp, but I think some of these young guys are going to pan out. Some of them aren't, but some of them don't.
I think when Chauncey left, I think everybody started to panic a little bit. I think everyone started to panic just a little bit. And, Terrell Edmonds left the Steelers, that he was going to sign a multi-year deal and backed out of it to join the Eagles for a year. And, I think there's a lot of competition there. And there's something I think you have to have more of a wait and see approach with the safety spot. That's what I think.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Yeah. Kirk Adkins, member for 2 months of Dingbat Nation. Thank you so much for your support. He goes, thoughts on the battle at slot corner. Well, I mean, I see Avonte Maddox as the clear-cut favorite, clear-cut starter at the slot corner starting. Who's really are they? Is the plan for them to move? Is the plan to move McPherson into the slot? Is that what I've heard, that they want him in the slot?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, OTA's who's playing in the slot, definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, whoever is going to, battle for slot, it's not to start over. I don't see any. I think Maddox is a legitimate Pro Bowl slot corner. He's just got to stay healthy. Got hurt twice. He got hurt. Yeah. But I mean, it's gonna be so interesting. But I think I don't know. I mean, how great was Kazir White? He, in my opinion, totally disappeared the second half of the season. Disappeared. TJ Edwards was good. He was all right, but he didn't get a lot of money. I was surprised that they didn't sign him for what he got going to Chicago, but they didn't get a lot of money.
They let a lot of guys go. They let both of them go. I mean, at least if we already, because we knew Nakobe Dean was here, so at least I figured one of them were going to leave. I thought we were going to keep at least not. I thought it was more Kaiser White they were going to keep, but yeah, I mean, even with Epps leaving as well, and he got, he didn't get much, but the Eagle, he wasn't worth what other, the Raiders were going to sign him, but
yeah. Tortyville, he says, I think the Eagles have a lot of guys that can compete for safety. Evans, Blankenship, Brown, McPherson, and Job. I would keep Keely Ringo. Wow, Johnny Ringo, somebody just walked all over your grave at corner until this year we draft backup cornerback. I want to see Ringo. See, I'm opposite. I want to see Ringo at safety.
Yeah,
because I think he's bigger, and I think that if he's at safety, I think he could be a really good safety. But I mean, I'm not going to complain. I think Edmonds is capable. I think Blankenship is, to me, a guy that showed promise last year. Brown is a wait and see. McPherson and Job, I see McPherson as a slot, and Job, I want to see on the outside. Also, who we got that guy from? I keep forgetting. Who did we get from the Browns again? God, what was his name? Why can't I remember his name?
Let me check.
It's totally.
I totally forgot about that guy. I know who you're talking about. I totally forgot.
Too, and he could be moved around too. So they've got enough guys that you probably got enough guys at the safety position to make it work. And the linebacker, if you were going to do anything on defense, is where you have to go. John Lemio, thank you for the super chat. He goes, Eagles sign Nate Gary as head cheerleader. Boy, did anybody ever get me madder than Nate Gary? Oh my God.
He's on a roster, I think, isn't he? I don't know.
I think he might be Washington. I don't know. Go Birds. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Appreciate it. He goes, I'm going to the Vikings and 49ers game, and I'm fired up. EAGLES Eagles. Oh, that's awesome. I tell you what, if you said this to me, you said, all right, Phil, you go to any game you want to go to, the Eagles are playing. I would always, for the most part, choose division rival games. I just like those. But I'll tell you what, I would love to be at that 49ers game. It's Greedy Williams. That's who it is. Yeah, Greedy Williams. Thank you, Michael Flanagan.
Oh, okay.
Greedy Williams. Yeah, he's another guy, very capable. So, yeah, that's who it is. Thank you guys for that. I just totally drew a blank, So, I think that they're going to be okay at safety. I think, obviously, if you get a chance to get like a Buda Baker, I think you jump on it. But I think if you're going to make a move defensively, I think you've got to go. I think you have to go linebacker. But I do think that there are some young linebackers. There's also another kid, I forget his name, Van something. Van, I'm going to kick your ass.
Van
Simmering. Like, dude, like he might be a total steal, like similar to TJ Edwards. Remember when we got TJ Edwards as an undrafted free agent? This kid could be that himself,
Yeah, he's a freak athlete, and I think if he was at the combine, he would have had one of the second best times. I think at least 40 wise, and I think he did some of his drills. He ranked pretty high too. So we'll see.
Yep, exactly. Eli Ricks is
that's a big one
that I want to see play. So they got some interesting guys. I think that the defensive backs will be fine. I think the question's really going to be the linebacking spot, but I am high on Morrow a little more than you, and I'm very high on Nakobe Dean. I just think if you look at Morrow and you look at his statistics, every year he seems like he's improving. So I expect him to take another step. Now, can you say, well, he's playing for Chicago and they stink? What do you expect? That's fair, and we'll see.
Well, here's the thing I don't get too. Like the highest undrafted free agent they paid was a wide receiver, Joseph Nada from Clemson. He's a big receiver. He's like what 6'3", 232, 240, something like that. Why the need for a big receiver? Is it because they feel like they need, knock on wood, because God forbid you have injuries. What if AJ Brown gets hurt for a game? Who replaces that? You know what I mean? What other big receivers do we really have besides AJ Brown? Not really anybody right now. So I wonder why they put so much money into a player for that position. Like last year it was Mario Goodrich. The year before that it was Jack Stahl, which, you know, they've hit these undrafted they've hit some of these guys that over the past few years. They have hit on some guys.
Yeah, they have, no doubt. John says, hey, 500, did you end up doing the Howie apology video in your suit and tie? I did. I put on a tie and I did an apology video. It's up. But
a clip-on? Was it a clip-on tie or
no? I know how to tie my own ties. I was stuck. I had to go to.
Oh yeah, you're Italian. You know how to do a tie.
Yeah, you know, when you got heavy work to do, you got to wear a tie. Joe says, Philly Joey, what side of the ball do you expect the biggest jump? Offense, defense, and why? But that's a great question. Here's what I'm going to say. I mean, the way I see it is I think you're going to see actually a jump on the offense early. Like, I think the offense has the ability to be even more dangerous and better than a year ago, because I think the DeAndre Swift signing or trade, I think that was such an underrated move because of what he gives you out of the backfield in the passing game, and adding that's an element that this offense did not have last year. They did not have a back that they could use in the passing game. You add that wrinkle into this offense, and then the ability of guys that could get, you know, Rashad Penny can get a 3rd and 1, you know. To have those two things that you can now do, I think that the offense comes out, and I think the offense is going to be scoring a ton of points early. I think early on in the season, we're going to see the offense carry this team. This is also another year of Jalen Hurts in the offense. Same offense with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They're all playing another year together. They're going to be better. I think the added element of a receiver who's a running back out of the backfield is going to make them more dangerous. And I think by the second half of the season, I think the defense starts to play and starts to step up. A lot of young guys start to get used to what's going on there, and the defense gets better, and the defense will be playing at a high level going into the playoffs. That's kind of how I see this thing going.
Yeah, I think the offense makes an even bigger jump, and I totally agree with you on all of that. And I was going to say, because I feel like getting the running backs involved in the passing game is going to be the huge upgrade to your offense. Instead of just having Gainwell get some of these passes, or maybe Boston Scott for a couple games, you're going to have DeAndre Swift, which he's, I think, one of the best backs when it comes to elite vision. Could cut on a dime at 100% speed, could change direction, could see things before they happen, before, you know, he gets between the tackles, getting him to the second level. And using, you know, I'm kind of interested to see how they use Rashad Penny. Are they going to use him as a 3rd down type back, maybe a finisher to tire out defenses? I mean, there's so many different things you could do with these running backs, especially Brian Johnson, because Brian Johnson, even at Florida as an OC, he got the running backs heavily involved. As I look back, he got the running backs heavily involved in the passing game, which I think that's something that's missing here. Your checkdowns, if you have a bigger, an elite back on checkdowns, I mean, you're going to forget about Miles Sanders in a heartbeat. And I think with these two guys at 100% health, I think they're better than Miles Sanders. I think one of them will hit 1,000 yards. If you can get a nice rotation in, and you can keep these guys healthy all year, I think you're going to see a lot of things. Not only just that, but Brian Johnson and every quarterback that he's been around through the college ranks has been successful under him, and has been elite potential, has been so elite over the years. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to have an even bigger year under Brian Johnson as well. So that exchange and those RPOs, those read options with those running backs, how can you defend this offense? It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough for defenses to defend it.
Shamar says, Philly 500, DeAndre Swift is not better than Miles Sanders. I think, here's how I see it. If you could give Swift, if he was able to be out in the field and didn't have the injuries, I think he has a higher ceiling than Miles Sanders. The other thing that DeAndre Swift does better than Miles Sanders is he catches out of the backfield. I think he's had a couple 500-600 yards receiving seasons. Miles only had that his rookie year. I think DeAndre Swift, if he's healthy, and look, that might be an if with him and Penny, But if he stays healthy, I think DeAndre Swift is a better talent and has a higher upside than Miles Sanders. It's just my opinion.
But why? But why are people saying that Miles Sanders is better than, because he, what is it, the glorified 1,000 yards that he had last year? Is that why? Is because of that number? I mean, look, do I think Miles Sanders has been underutilized since Nick came in? Could Miles do more? I think so, definitely. I just think, like, I felt like Nick came in and just, Miles, they put trust in Miles Sanders to catch the ball. He had drops, he had fumbles, he had issues between those 2 years, and then they just took it away from him. They took him away. They took him away in red zone. They took him away in the passing game. They gave more of it to Gainwell. I think there was a trust issue there. Miles Sanders has been chirping this offseason that he should have been used more in the Super Bowl, which he only had 7 carries
but he also fumbled the ball in the Super Bowl.
Almost, yeah.
So to me, look, I like Miles. I do. And Philly Boy Fled says Miles averaged 5 yards a carry. That's not a chump. I don't think Miles Sanders was a chump at all. I mean, I like Miles Sanders. I do. But I think when you look, when we're just looking, listen, and if you want to throw health in and say, well, Swift isn't on the field, that's a fair argument. I can't disagree with you. But if Swift can give me this year where he's healthy, and he's going to have a contract year and an opportunity to prove it. If he is on the field and he's healthy, to me, he's more dangerous than Miles Sanders because he's a dual threat and he can hit you in many different ways. Miles could not do that. They did not use Miles in the passing game at all. At all.
No, and someone in the chat was like, someone in the chat said Miles Sanders is more explosive. Than more explosive than DeAndre Swift. Is Swift a little bit more patient? Is he more smart? Maybe. Yeah, like I said, I think his vision's better, but Miles Sanders just, I think he hesitates too much. I think he dances way too much. Opportunities, there's opportunities where you see holes, you see obviously where he could run, and then you're like, then he goes a totally different direction sometimes, and he tries to get that big home run hit every time he gets his hands on the ball.
Miles to me is really a guy that, and his strength was always that he could break like an 80-yarder, like he could take an 80-yarder and go. But if you look at the last few years, that didn't happen as much, and it really happened a lot early in his career. I like Miles, I do. I like Miles Sanders, but If you could give me a healthy DeAndre Swift, which is fair enough to say but for argument's sake, if you give me him, okay, if you go back and watch the Eagles and Detroit game, what he does in that game to the Eagles, how he kind of takes over that game for Detroit, I don't think Miles Sanders could give you in a game. Miles is a guy who is going to get, 10 to 15 carries, and he might break a couple big ones. Every once in a while have a game where he has 100 yards. What I saw DeAndre Swift do to us in that game week 1, I don't think I've seen Miles do to another team. And that's just being honest.
No, I don't think he's going to have it. I think you're going to see, I'm not saying that Miles isn't a good running back. I'm saying that, this offensive line, when you put that much value to an offensive line, running backs do normally look good, and you don't need to. I'm not saying you could throw anybody back there, but you don't need to pay. You don't need to have a, if you can get a high player on a low price because of injury or something like a trade we made for a 25 4th round pick for DeAndre Swift. That's great, but at the end of the day, it's really, you have guys at a low risk, high reward, with 2 guys, 2 moves in Penny and Swift because they've had past injuries, and that's what's coming down to now. That's why they were cheap, especially Penny is beyond injury prone. I mean, that we're just seeing if he could stand on one leg throughout training camp right now. So that's the whole thing we're seeing.
Yeah. Mr. Sanders slowed down past few years. 500 is right. I mean, he had a great year last year, a career year, but I didn't see any of those break off like 50-yard runs. I can't remember that many, but and if you look at it first 2-3 years in his career, I mean, he'd break out 3 or 4 of those a year. So it's gonna be interesting, and we'll see with Penny too, because Penny and Swift are kind of in the same boat. Very talented when they're both playing, but can they play? And Swift has injury and durability questions. Penny has the same questions times 2 or 3 because he has legitimately missed a lot of football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I think realistically, Swift is coming to the Philadelphia Eagles this year on a 1-year deal, last year of his contract right now with a chip on his shoulder. Okay. He's pissed off. Okay. He came to Philadelphia to be the focal point. I think they're going to treat him like the focal point of the offense. Obviously the passing game comes first, but I'm saying as for the running backs, I think he is the focal point back as of right now. I'm not saying they're going to put Kenneth Gainwell to the side. They're going to kick him to the side or anything like that. He's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to be pissed off. He's going to, he's coming home, and kind of restamp himself in another city. He's 24 years old. It's not like we picked up. This is why it's so different. And I feel like this running back, this whole running back position right now, these guys, I feel like this could be one of the best running back tandems we've had in a while because you have some low risk, high reward type guys. And if they can, if you keep these guys healthy all year, a lot of good things happen. And like I said, 24 years old. Like I think obviously with Penny, I think he will leave and try to get a contract somewhere else. But with DeAndre Swift, 24 years old, and there was obviously rumors about maybe an extension. The Eagles don't pay running backs, but maybe they'll try to work in the middle. They'll try to work in the middle. And I think you need to get something done with him. Yeah. I think you really have 24 years old.
I think if Swift stays healthy, I think people are going to be very surprised by him. I really do. Shamar asked me, 500, do you think A.J. Brown is better than Jamar Chase? I love A.J. Brown, but I can't. I can't put him ahead of. No, I can't put him ahead of Jamar Chase. No. I can't. No, I love A.J. Brown. I love the person he is. I love he's the Eagle, but no, I can't do that. East Coast Gridiron. He says, "What's up, guys? Welcome back. Thank you, man. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. It feels good to be back.
Definitely.
The running back position is going to be fun because I think we're deeper than we were, but I do think there is legitimate questions about these guys' health. Can Swift and can Penny stay healthy? That's a fair question. It is. It really is. Eagles Uncensored says Swift has never had an O-line. This dude is going to go off. Well, I think Detroit has a pretty good line. He's got to stay healthy, and he really kind of fell out of favor with them. But I think he's good, man.
Well, let's be real. He was phased out in Detroit last year. He was phased out by what's his face that got paid a lot of the other running back that got paid a lot of money over there, as well. I forgot his name. If anybody in the chat know, I totally forgot his name, but
yeah. Shamar says 500. It's closer than you think. Well, it might be. I'm not saying it's not. I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying AJ Brown's horrible. I love AJ Brown. I love Devontae Smith, but I couldn't put him above him if I'm keeping it 100. No, I can't. So Dave says, when was the last time we had a real legit defensive coordinator? A defensive coordinator that I really liked. What was the last one? Obviously you have Jim Johnson. Then we had what's his face? We had the Bills head coach for a defensive coordinator. We gave up on him too early. It's been a while. I would say it's been a while, especially since somebody I really liked. Now I know a lot of people are going to talk about what's his face from the Super Bowl year, but I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah.
So
there's some questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, when you look at the offense is pretty stacked. Your offensive line is really good, right? And then
Billy Davis. Billy Davis.
Oh, no, not Billy Davis. No. But you look at the offensive line, really, it's set. The offense is pretty much set, but I do think you have legitimate questions with the health of the running backs. That's fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have a battle at right guard. Who's going to win the right guard spot? Do you think it's going to be Juergens? Do you think it's going to be Steen? What do you think?
I think Juergens. I think just because the experience, and obviously, I just has worked with close with Kelsey, and I feel like we have the most versatile offensive line. For backups besides Driscoll, I think it looks pretty good right now. You have Steen that can play left tackle, right tackle, that has the obviously physicality to play right guard, and Dennis Kelly's played left and right tackle. He can play both positions really well and has played some guard as well. Jurgens could play center and guard. You have a lot of guys that could, and I think you have guys that not only could play multiple positions, but you have guys that could play multiple positions very well, in case of anything. So I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say I kind of want Steen to win the job. He's what, 6'8", 6'7", something like that.
Yeah,
right. But I would like to see Cam Jurgens just stay at center and just learn to play that position. And if Steen could take it over, that's fine. But I think you also got to watch out for Driscoll. Driscoll has been a guy that has gotten snaps, and he has played well too. And now with Kelly there, Kelly will be a swing tackle. So I think the battle is going to be between Driscoll, Steen, and Jurgens. I think it's a three-way battle.
Yeah, the problem I have is redshirting Jurgens another year. That's the only problem I have.
Right.
Then if Kelsey retires, then you're only going to have 2 years left to really evaluate him.
But let's say you go out and Cam Jurgens is a Pro Bowl right guard. Now you need a center again.
So you don't. So you're only
Jason Kelsey's handpicked center is now your right guard.
So you're only not putting him at right guard because you feel like they're going to feel they're comfortable with him. And then they're going to have to look for a center all over again.
I think he's going to be too good. No,
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, look, if he's good, he's good. You play him. Kalo says Schwartz was good. Schwartz, I was not a fan of Schwartz, dude. I believe Schwartz was only in Philly because he thought he was going to get Peterson's job early on. I really believe that was why he was there. Philadelphia underdogs. He says Cowboy fans be dumbing it down in the 2000s. They don't realize they're like one of 4 teams in the NFL who haven't won a divisional playoff game since Jimmy Johnson was their head coach in the 90s. Yikes. Oh, they're gone. They have lost their minds this offseason, dude. It is insane to me. I think we're going to have epic Cowboy meltdowns this year. I think it's going to be a great thing. And the funny thing about the Cowboys is they thought they were having a quiet camp or quiet summer. And now they're going to have to deal with Martin probably holding out. And if you've seen their list of free agents coming next year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like what we had to deal with. But I don't think they have a GM that can pull the moves that Howie pulled.
Well, no, I think it comes down to a lot of loyalty too. I think, and sometimes loyalty is a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing because when you get too friendly with between coach and player or GM and player, and you play favorites, you can get into a cap strap type situation over emotion. And I feel like with the Eagles, I feel like a lot of these players took less money for believing what they're doing. Obviously, the culture of this team and. The Cowboys, and I try to be as unbiased as possible, but if Tony Pollard has a good year, then you got to pay a running back. Right. But within this year and next year with Dak Prescott, they're going to find out, is he going to get an extension? Micah Parsons contract. I mean, it's right. They see what the Eagles did a few years ago. They locked up a bunch of players. That was part of our free agency going into the next season when they locked up Mulata and Sweat and some of these other guys. They locked up all these guys so you could start building around them. That was the whole point of that.
Right. So, but what the Eagles also did was they also had multiple draft picks. So you were able to land Jalen Carter to replace Hargrave. Now, maybe he doesn't go out and have the year Hargrave had last year, but he's a rookie. But down the road, you're actually better off,
I believe
it. So I mean, do the Cowboys have that type of GM that can make those kind of moves? I don't know. You know what I mean? Sizzle says, is Mark Holmes still making videos about you? I don't know. I think he's getting. I think I've really pissed Mark Holmes off. Because he just responds with angry faces to me now. I've tortured Mark Holmes also. I did. I just torture because every day he's talking about the Eagles or talking about me. So I fire back, and then he gets all pissed off. Mark Perez, David Super Chat. He goes, I'll take Steen all day. 6'8", 320 versus Jurgens, 6'3", 305. 6'8", 320. The only thing I wonder about 6'8" when you're that big, because they say, and you play offensive line, offensive line, you got to get down low. You got to be able to get down low, right? You want to push. 6'8", man, you got to get down low.
Well,
right?
if you're that big, you have to have good technique.
You have to have really good technique. And listen, we've got the guy to give it to them.
Yeah.
Stoutland. Are you saying something? I think you're saying no.
No, I thought you would catch that. I guess.
Big guy. Has to
I
have
guess you
good
didn't catch
technique.
that at all.
I thought
Welcome to the Philly Shakedown Season 3. Welcome.
Here we go. Uh-oh. Here we go. Don't start it, Joey. We're
I'm
running
good.
The nonsense has not kicked in yet. It will, I'm sure. Can we talk about the thumbnail? Yeah, sure, of course. Yes. What would you like? What would you like to know, Sister of the Nut? Tell me. What would you like to know? Steen is 6'4". I thought he was 6'8". Eagles for Life says, I love pissing Mark Holmes off. Nice to see the big old angry man because he ain't seen shit since he was in his late 20s and always brags about how the 40 burgers, and that's only probably eaten too. Yeah, it's crazy. So Steen is, I've got 6'4", 6'6", and 6'8". Okay, what is Steen?
We'll
have to look it up. Well, look, he's between 6'4" and 6'6", we'll say, right? I thought he was 6'7" or 6'8".
6'6", 322.
Oh, 6'6". Okay, so I was 2 inches off. I was a Mark Holmes off. 2 inches. Let's see. Brandon says Hurts isn't running over 200 times this year. Philly's offense will look a lot different. I mean, I expect Hurts to run. I think that the natural progression of a quarterback is and becoming a better passer is that he'll probably throw more. But I also think that you have it like if the running backs can stay healthy, I think you have a deeper set of running backs, and I think you got running backs that can get you short yardage situations. You know, so we'll see. Wait, hold on. Let me read this.
No, I think they're not. They'll never stray away from the run anyway. But
what is with this guy? Philly, answer me. I have a comment. You piece of bacon. Bacon, dude. What?
He could have called you a lot worse than that.
Yeah, I know. It's just an odd word. It's like he's trying to trigger my hunger. I've been a fan for years, and you're going to treat me like this? I'm smashing my TV as we speak. Is that what you want from me? You want me to get mad. Break that shit. Throw it against the wall. Step on it. Jump on it. I didn't even see any of your comment. What's your comment? I'll answer it, but I swear I didn't see it. Now you broke your TV for nothing, and he probably doesn't even know I'm reading this because it's probably tapped out. Dude broke his TV. Dylan Jordan, Dave for Super Chat. No, none of that. He's been good. We are good. We are pure. Everything's reborn. I still live in my mother's basement, though. I still live in her basement. Now I want to know what the question was that he's flipping out about. I don't, dude. I'm scrolling up. I literally don't see.
I haven't even seen that guy comment again, so I don't.
I just think he wanted to talk about bacon. What the hell? I literally don't see one of his comments. He could. I'm a piece of bacon. I don't know. Bob says, I hope they use Mariota instead so we can make sure Jalen is healthy. I think you'll see Jalen probably 2 series all of preseason. That's what I think. And then the rest will be Mariota and the other quarterbacks.
Yeah, you're not going to see these running backs. You're not going to see a lot of players. Like, I'm not going to be bored when the preseason games are on because I feel like we need to see like the back end of this roster a little bit. See what someone might break out. You never know.
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Joey still hasn't watched that show. I'm going to do a live stream and make Joey sit and watch it. Can't we do like one of those streams like where we stream it and we both can watch it at the same time?
We can.
They have that. We're going to make Joey watch it with us one of these nights. He's never watched it. I swear, dude, the guy like went off on me, but like, dude, I don't see any question. I scrolled all the way up. There's no comments. 55 in the film. Why are you holding Joey's head, Paul? That's taken from Better Call Saul season. I think it was season 4.
Yeah,
me and Joe are big Better Call Saul fans, and it's like it's one stream, 2 guys, 2 different personalities. You think it's one, but it's the other. It's it's like the duality of the whole thing. I don't know.
Oh, I missed that show. Yeah,
me too. Hulk Mercenary, remember for 26 months, Dingbat Nation goes, what do you think about us getting Hunter Renfrow? There's been a few comments about Hunter Renfrow, and I guess we haven't talked about the receiving position at all, so we should probably talk about it. I think Hunter Renfrow would be a great third receiver for the Eagles if they wanted to go that route. He probably would beat out Quez Watkins, but I don't know if the Eagles are going to do it. I do think Quez has got something to prove, and I do think he's coming in motivated. I kind of want to see with Quez Watkins how he comes into camp, and we'll know early if we're hearing he's dropping passes again in camp. It's gonna be bad. But,
he did it.
But I mean,
he did it in OTAs. He did it once, at least in OTAs. A wide open pass. John McMullen said that. Like, that's why I think Sirianni like kind of protected him that one day, and then all of a sudden I heard John was on podcast and said that he had 10 yards of separation, perfect pass, and went right through his hands. And that's and it's not like Quez had the worst year last year. Like, we're talking like a couple mistakes, but that Super Bowl, what were your two, what was the on offense, what was your what position didn't really produce that much? Wide receiver 3 didn't produce that much.
And running back.
Running back. Yeah.
I mean, I guess Gainwell was okay in the playoffs and stuff, but Miles disappeared in the playoffs. Shamar says 500. I think Sidney Brown. You know what? We agree with that. I think you're right. I think Sidney Brown's gonna be good. I think he's gonna start. I think he's gonna win the safety spot, to be honest with you. I'm trying to catch up. I see that maybe Cole's Cowboy is here trolling. Congratulations on finding the channel. I'm glad you're here, buddy. I saw he had a birthday. This guy, poor Cole's Cowboy, he just takes a beat on Twitter. I'm sorry, dude. I watch. Everybody's trashing the Cowboys all the time, and every time I see a trash Cowboy tweet, I see the very next tweet responding is Cole's Cowboy.
Philly,
all he does is try to stick up for him all the time.
There's one thing you gotta know: he does it to himself. And I love the guy, but he does it to himself, and he knows it, and he wants to get a rise out of Eagles fans. I get it.
Every time I see like an Eagle player or some tweet about negative about Cowboys, he's literally always the first response I see. I'm like, this guy spends all summer, like all day, protecting Dak Prescott. You can't protect this quarterback much longer. At some point, you're going to have to recognize he just can't win the big game. He can't win in the playoffs. Joe, he says, I don't have any faith in Quez making the big catch, but I hope he proves me wrong. Well, let's say he doesn't, right? What do you think the chances are that Oz, I'm just calling Oz because I can't pronounce his name, is going to come in, the receiver we got out of Atlanta, and maybe win the starting job? He kind of is like Nicholas Morrow too, in that every year he seems to be getting better and better as well. And he may be a guy ready to break out.
Yeah, are you talking about Zacchaeus had his best year last year over 500 yards.
I just call him Oz because I can't. I always say his name wrong.
2 touchdown, Alamade. Yeah, two touchdowns over 500.
How was that?
Alamade Zacchaeus. Yeah, I don't know.
Philadelphia underdogs 500. Mark Holmes took my wrench away for speaking facts. He tapped out the fire. Mark is not making it through this year. I'm telling you guys. You are going to see meltdowns like you've never seen, because you can only make the same excuses for your starting quarterback so many times. Like the Cowboys are literally at the point where their cap is going to come back and haunt them. Their Zach Martin, their best guard, their best offensive lineman, is probably going to hold out. And Mark knows that if that goes through another year and can't get out of second round of playoffs, it's done. The fan base will turn on him at some point.
True.
And I don't think Mark can take it. I don't think he can take it. Dylan Jordan Davis super chat, man. He goes, Mark Holmes will be bald by the end of the year. I agree. Underdog says, Philly 500 Joey, I'd rather have Zacharias in than Dropkins. Quez Dropkins.
Zacharias.
Is that his name, right? Zacharias?
Zacchaeus, not Zacharias.
Zacchaeus. Yeah, I just call him Oz because I hate messing up people's names, and I am the worst, dude. I literally get people are like, I don't watch football, I don't watch sports, but I watch your channel, I sub because I just wait for you to pronounce names. Like they just love watching me mess up names, and they think it's hilarious. It's the funniest thing. I'm like, well, whatever brings you to my channel. You know, Jamar says 500 minus the off the field issues. If you swap Deshaun Watson for Jalen Hurts, do you think we can still make the Super Bowl? I like Deshaun Watson, but I don't think so. No, I think Jalen Hurts is that good. And I think Jalen Hurts is so disrespected, so underappreciated. I would say no, because I think that to me, Deshaun Watson has to show me he can win in the playoffs and win a big game. That's what I want to see from Deshaun Watson. I believe Jalen Hurts can do it. I watched Jalen Hurts have an unbelievable performance in a Super Bowl. And if he would have gotten one more drive, I think he wins that game. So I'm going to say no.
That's a weird. It's a hard question to say because, like, with all the background stuff we heard about Deshaun Watson, you know, it's a lot of it, and even early when he was throwing the football, like he looked really bad. Like even he was last year.
Yeah, he didn't play, but he didn't play for a few years. I don't hold that against him. I mean, but he's had weapons and a good offense before. I mean, I like Deshaun Watson, I do, but I want to see Deshaun Watson. What Jalen Hurts showed me last year, you know, besides showing that he could pass and all that stuff, is I look how he handled the playoffs. Like I thought he was good in every game for the most part. I think he took advantage of situations, and people can make fun of him on that one fumble, but the Eagles still had a 10-point lead at halftime. If the Eagles get a drive with, let's say, 1:38, and let's say they don't call penalty in that Super Bowl, and the Eagles are down 3, he's winning the game. And I can tell you he's winning the game, and I know it. I don't believe that with Deshaun Watson yet. I need to see that from him, you know?
No,
that's my feeling.
Yeah.
Kazhana, David Super Chat. If Martin holds out, Dak won't lead the NFL in interceptions. He will lead the NFL in sacks instead. That's a good point. The Umbrella Man, what's up? David Super. Umbrella Man is in
Atlanta,
right? I think JJ.
Good for him.
Good for him. I just hope he doesn't ruin Bijan. Stay away from Bijan Robinson.
Don't curse Bijan Robinson.
Umbrella Man said, David Super J goes, I bet a buddy that Hurts has more passing yards than Dak this season. Do I win? That's going to be close. Because here's what I think was going to happen. I think that with knowing Mike McCarthy, and I think this is what we didn't talk about the coordinators, but one of the things the Cowboy fans, they keep bringing up is the Eagles have new coordinators, but they ignore the fact that they have a new offensive coordinator too. And really, Mike McCarthy wants to call the offense. Mike McCarthy, when he was in Green Bay, he did not run the ball. They didn't have running backs. And he just, it's not his nature. I think they're not going to run nearly as much as they think. I think they're going to be one-dimensional and throw a lot. But I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts still ends up with more passing yards. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I feel like Dak might have more just because I mean, really, I think the past few years with the Cowboys, I think the one thing that offense hasn't went back to the same level they used to a while ago was Dak not being mobile. I think him being mobile was very dangerous for a while, and then they kind of strayed away from that. And then when he had the injury, obviously the ankle injury, then he wasn't fully healed from that last year, or he wasn't comfortable doing that. And I feel like going to this year at 100% full health, maybe they will be more mobile with him this year. Right. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, they want to run the ball more. I know that. They can't have him throw over 40, 45 times a game because you can't put it on Dak's shoulders. It's just with Brandon Cooks or not, I don't care what you say.
I don't believe McCarthy is going to be a run first or even. I just think he's going to get away from it. And he's like, it's like he comes from that line of thinking where it's like they're going to throw. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. Fabio David Super Chat goes, Quez on the outside, Smith or AJ at slot at times. I don't mind rotating all those guys around at all. No, I mean, no. I'm totally open for that. Shamar says 500. Deshaun Watson has not played on team. No, I agree. He hasn't played on a team like this, but he has had talent on offense with him.
100%.
He played with DeAndre Hopkins for years, So I agree, he hasn't been as good, but I need to see Deshaun Watson win a playoff game. You know, they were in a playoff Houston, if I remember correctly, they were in a couple times, and I don't think he's won, right?
He got hurt. No, never mind. No, he didn't get hurt.
I don't remember if they won one. They might have won one game, but I want to see him in playoffs.
Yeah.
Dylan, but I think he's a tremendous talent, though. Dylan Jordan, David Super Chat, he goes, let's get together and send Mark a bunch of gabagool and cannolis. He needs something good to happen for once. He wouldn't even know what that is. He wouldn't even know what that is. Nah, we'll do it, though. Oh, Zach Martin can't sit out. No, he definitely can't. I don't think he'll sit out, but what he'll do is he'll probably, if he holds out, he'll just report at the end of training camp. Like if, let's say, like, and this could be a problem for the Giants. I mean, Giants play Dallas week 1. You know, you're talking about Saquon's going to hold out all of training camp. That means he's going to come back for week 1 versus the versus the Cowboys. He's going to be useless. He's not going to be able to play. The Giants are basically handing Dallas a victory week 1.
Well, it already shows you now because the Giants signed Robinson, which it's already showing you that this is going to be a long process, and maybe it might even come to missing games. But I mean, with Saquon, it's just ridiculous right now. Like obviously, like a really good rookie year, and then he was healthy for like. Had a real good year. I feel like he's the focal point of that offense because really after paying Daniel Jones, like what have they, I mean, they just signed Cole Beasley, but it's not scary. I mean, Waller's a good tight end, but it's just what is that Darius Slayton and I don't get what in that offense that when you look at the Giants, like what do you fear about that offense? What it goes, whoa, like I got, what connection you see between Daniel Jones having with one of these guys? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. I think, I still think the Giants need some weapons on the outside.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Waller's a good addition, but I really was surprised that they didn't make a play for like DeAndre Hopkins or somebody like that. Just really surprised me. And now you're dealing with Barkley. If Barkley holds out a training camp, it's going to take him a few weeks to get going. So yeah, I think Dallas is walking into a week 1 slaughter of the Giants if they don't have Saquon Barkley because I think they're too one-dimensional. I agree. Barkley is the focal of that offense. He opens things up for Daniel Jones. I'm not a big Daniel Jones believer, dude. I'm just not. I don't know. I see all these rankings with him and comparing him to Jalen Hurts and then comparing him to Dak, and I'm like, he's not on their level. I don't understand it.
Well, I think the credit you can give
touchdowns last year.
The credit you can give Daniel Jones for last year is he took a team that really had nothing and turned it into something. I mean, that's really what you could like good for him. Like that, but is he top 5 talent?
He did a great job against one of the biggest choking playoff teams and playoff quarterbacks that play in the National. Kirk Cousins is a choker. And he chokes the plus. We all knew the Giants were going to win that game. I just can't give him credit. I'm sorry. Lynn says, doesn't matter. The defense did not play up to par. We just lost. Philly fans don't pine over losses like Dallas Rat fans. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know. If we were talking about the Super Bowl earlier, the only statement I was making was that Jalen Hurts, if given the opportunity, I trust that he would have won that game if they had enough time. James says 500. What do you think about the Zoom call to running backs? Will it change anything? So did you hear about this Zoom call of all the star running backs? And they're all pissed off, and they were talking about, like, some of the people were saying they were talking about flopping injuries or playing up little injuries and stuff like that. I don't think it could do anything. I don't know what it's going to do to help them.
Philly, even if they go to the NFLPA, like they're not the ones giving out the fucking contracts. Sorry about the cursing, but it's like they're not giving out the contracts. Like, why do you think Dalvin Cook's not signed yet? Like nobody's paying these like running backs. The shelf life for running backs are so short, such a short span now. Why do you think the Eagles don't, they like to get, role playing type guys in the backfield? Like that's why they put no money in that position. Could they have paid Miles Sanders $6 million a year? Sure. But it's a different time now. It's not the same anymore. You're using multiple backs now in a rotation than using one guy on a big contract. You'd rather franchise a running back than give a running back an extension. That's how much like they're just not worth it.
And this goes to the exact argument that we made about Bijan Robinson.
Right.
This is why you draft him if you can, because you don't want to pay the running backs anyways, and you tie him up for 4 or 5 years. I believe if Jalen Carter was off the board, I believe, and Bijan, I believe that would have been the pick because 100%. Of that very reason. But yeah, at some point, running backs will start to get paid again, but right now it's not happening. Cloudify says, Philly, what are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts' 88 rating on Madden? It seems like Hurts is still going to be disrespected. Nobody, what does he write? Also, train camp will do. You'll do call-ins. Yeah, we're going to do some call-ins at training camp stuff. I'm going to talk to Joey after the show about, see if he wants to do a couple of extra shows during camp too, because there's just so much news going on.
Right.
So we'll talk about all that. But at some point, we definitely will. No question about it. As far as the rating goes, I hate Madden. I have learned and become a hater of that game because it hasn't changed at all. And I wish they would stop worrying about the rankings and ratings and start making a better game. That's how I feel. But I think the Eagles players always get gypped off. People were happy Lane Johnson's a 98, but why wasn't he a 99? Like, the guy shuts down Bosa. He shuts down Parsons. He shuts down everybody that they have as the highest defensive ends and edge rushers. Yeah, he gets a 98, 999. Zach Martin gets a 99. How is Hassan Reddick, a guy who's had double-digit sacks on 3 separate teams 3 years in a row, how is he only, a 91? I don't get it. Josh Sweat, double-digit sacks. Brandon Grant, double-digit sacks, and he's like at 80. So I just hate their
I don't think there's somebody that works for EA that's looking closely at the ranking system and seeing how these players actually do statistically. And I don't think they look closely at that. I think maybe they look at some type of chart where they just see like something.
Yeah.
But I don't play it I don't play it anymore. I haven't bought a game in years, and I probably will never waste my money on that ever again. So
when the NFL allows another software company to license the NFL and somebody makes a competition and actually puts out a competitive game with EA, then EA will adjust. But to me, it's just the same game every year. And then they say, well, we got there's this new gameplay and this new thing, this new engine. But it's always it's only good for like the ads or the beginning part of the game. It's not in game. I just think it's boring, same stuff. I used to play every Madden, believe me. And I've gotten bored with it. Dylan Jordan for it. Thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Philly Fire, did you end up getting an OLED? I didn't get an OLED TV. I got a QLED. I got the brightest QLED that was out there because I needed a TV that when I stream and it's bright outside and the sun's coming in, I can actually see the screen because I need the windows open because otherwise my screen gets too dark and I don't want to have all these lights surrounding me and I'm sweating as I'm pacing and stuff. So I went with a QLED, a 75-inch QLED. But I will be getting an 83 OLED in about a year or two for my theater room. I love OLEDs. LT Dave for Super Chat. He goes, how will the change in the read option rule affect us? What was the change?
I never even heard of that. I
know that they wanted to change the I know that they were talking about changing the butt sneak where they push them, but they didn't end up doing that.
Maybe that's what he means because I don't.
But, otherwise, I might have missed the rule change. And if I did, let me know what it is.
The fair catch rule is, or the kickoff rule is horrible.
Rule sucks, man.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, look, it's skid marks. Skid marks, what's up? He goes, great to see you guys back since the little hiatus. My girl has been checked. Oh, what? Has been checking my prostate. You're getting prostate exams by your girl. So now I could go back to the Eagles and playing with my tomatoes. Boy, you live a good life, don't you?
I don't know.
He's getting prostate exams.
Prove it. No.
Don't prove it. He'll have a picture. Don't tell him that. He'll have that thumbnail changed so quick, and I'll never be able to click on him. Dude, he had a couple thumbnails, if you remember, that were like, I think it was in I kept getting I kept getting demonetized because of the picture. Let's see here. 500. Tell Mark Dak is 8-3 record versus the Eagles is garbage stats. Here are why. Since 2017, Dak beat our backup several times due to Eagles wrestling playoffs. Also, Eagles have 2 Super Bowls. Oh, I agree. It's all bullcrap. And Dallas fans don't understand that the whole record of Dak having a great record in the division is not a good thing, because what it tells you is that he couldn't win with that giant advantage of winning and having a great record against the division. He couldn't repeat as a division champ, and he couldn't get out of the second round of playoffs. Now the Eagles are a powerhouse. The Giants are up and coming. Washington is a quarterback away, and I think they kind of blew it. So I don't think it's as good of a argument that they think it is. The handoff rule. I totally missed the rule.
Okay. I have it right
was
here.
The rule change? I don't remember.
I have it right here. It says the NFL tweaked the law to make such an action even more illegal now. Now, a forward handoff is illegal if it's to an eligible player or beyond the line of scrimmage. The rule makes the language more consistent with similar rules and makes the enforcement from the spot of the foul in all circumstances.
But it has to be at the line of scrimmage, or past. It can't be past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I don't get a forward handoff is so.
But past the line of scrimmage,
right? Well, that's obviously.
Usually the handoffs happen behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, yeah, that's why it makes no sense. Like, where's the handoff being?
I don't know. Based upon that, I don't know that it will.
That makes no sense.
The new rule will hurt read. Why will it hurt the read option? The read option. I mean, he usually read option. If he hands it off, he's behind the line of scrimmage. Are we reading that right?
It's not a forward handoff though, because it's not a. Does Hurts hold the ball in front? Does Hurts hold the ball in front of him?
But you said beyond the line of scrimmage, or did it say beyond after the line of scrimmage? I don't know. I have to look at the whole thing.
It says a forward handoff is illegal if it's to an eligible player or beyond the line of scrimmage.
I don't know.
What's an ineligible player? What? I don't get that. What, out of position? I don't get. Well, I don't even get what that means.
I'm assuming like one of the linemen. I'll have to go read the rule and see myself. I don't know.
It's confusing just to read it. It makes no sense.
Yeah, JD, if they were smart, they'd have Nolan Smith at the edge, outside linebacker, and game mixing scheme. So, do you think? What are you expecting from some of the rookies? That's a great question. We haven't really talked a lot about the rookies. What are your expectations for some of these rookies going in?
At least like with the defensive line right now, I think with Nolan Smith, I don't think he's going to be a pure edge rusher as much as I want to be selfish and keep him there. I feel like he's got too much athletic ability just to keep him as an edge rusher. I think they need to have him in pass coverage and do some different things with him, whether it's an outside linebacker. I think he can have a 6-sack season. I think they'll use him as a linebacker on the edge. I think he'll hit the gap and disrupt quarterbacks a lot this year. I think Jalen Carter might actually make noise pretty early. I think he will start this year, to be honest. I mean, he might not, but I have good feeling that he will. I think you'd really have Fletcher Cox and maybe Jordan Davis, and I think you'll have a better tandem if Carter makes a little bit more noise, and I think he will. Yeah.
Joe says ineligible is lineman. Yeah, that's what I thought too. So as lineman, let's say check in, right? Like you can check in and like a tackle and be eligible, and we've seen that with the tackles before, and like some touchdown passes. But I need to read that rule myself to comment on it because it's a little confusing what's being read. But yeah, I think Jalen Carter is going to make an impact right away. I think Carter has, I think he plays right away. I think he starts. I think I think Steen has a chance to start because he's going to have a chance with that right guard spot. I think Sidney Brown could win a starting job. I really do. I think he can win a starting job at safety. And then I think Nolan Smith, I think they're going to try to find ways to use him. I think you've got to try to find ways to get him on the field.
I agree.
Philly 500, the Eagles lost 6 players on defense, and y'all lost defensive coach. Your team is not the same team last year, and you're not going anywhere this year. Stop it. Dude, are you crazy? Do you really think that the defensive coordinator we lost is a bad thing? Like you can't get any worse than him. He stunk. Okay, the guy wasn't even prepared for the Super Bowl. That is not a loss for the Eagles. As far as the players that they lost, yeah, we lost players, but we also replaced a lot. I mean, how many people can say that they lose a defensive tackle and then replace him with maybe the best player in the draft?
At least the second best player in the draft.
Top
at least.
3, top 3. So to me, I think the Eagles, yeah, they've lost some players, and there will be a time, especially defensively, where they're going to have to make adjustments. However, the offense is ready to go. The offense hasn't changed at all, except for running back, which they've replaced, and then that right guard spot. But pretty much the offense is the same, and teams can't stop this offense. So what you're going to see is the Eagles offense carry them early, and the defense come on later in the year. It's not the losses that the Cowboy fans think it is, and you will be dealing with this next year. So hang on.
And by the way, that's wrong. They lost 11 to 12 players. They didn't lose 6. And number 2, if the Eagles don't make the playoffs with as bad as the NFC is right now, then we're in trouble. And I don't think it's even, obviously, I never had been saying that they will not make the playoffs this year. I think both, even with the Cowboys as well, I feel like the NFC East might be the best division once again this year. Could be
right.
Schedules are harder, obviously, but
I think they did a hell of a job replacing the running back spot. I think the Eagles are deeper there. I think the right guard spot is a place they got to fix. I trust Stoutland to be able to do it.
Yeah,
Hargrave was replaced with Jalen Carter. You can't ask for a much better situation than to have 2 first-round picks at defensive tackle, and you still have Fletcher Cox. Oh, by the way, you still have 3 guys with double-digit sacks. You have Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, and Bradbury, because you were able to bring Bradbury. The C.J. Gardner-Johnson loss, to me, is the biggest one that I think is the biggest question mark. And then the linebackers that we lost, I don't think they were all as great as everybody thinks they were. So I don't think it's quite the damage that the Cowboy fans think. But the problem is for them is that the offense remains the same. The offense remains the same.
It's like it's when you hear people say, "Well, you lost this many players," and it's like, okay, well, if you know this team so much, so what replacements did they make? Like, that's the name of the game. Like, when you have free agents that are old age that are playing on a high level and you can't afford them or don't want to pay them, for Javon Hargrave, $31 million a year, the Eagles were not going to make, the Eagles weren't going to pay that. It wasn't or 22, whatever it was, 22, sorry. Mm-hmm. The Eagles aren't going to pay that. Is Carter going to have, double digit sacks this year? I mean, maybe. I mean, who knows? But I feel like he will be disruptive. I think this whole defensive line, like you said, you still have three players that had double digit sacks still on this roster now. Right now.
So, yeah, Timbo says Mark Holmes owns 500. This is Mark Holmes' burner account. Everybody, just welcome it in. How you doing? Yeah, I just think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. Cowboy fans are in for a rude awakening. Listen, I think the C.J. Gardner-Johnson loss, it does suck. But if you sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson, you weren't bringing back Darius Slay.
Or Bradbury. You're not bringing Bradbury back
because it just wasn't going to happen. So I think the Eagles will be okay. I don't think listen, I like TJ Edwards. I think he was good. I don't think he was a top 5 linebacker in the league. Okay, and he didn't go and get it. He didn't make a ton of money in his contract with Chicago.
He wasn't right for the scheme. He was a good player, just wasn't right for the scheme.
Kaiser White was non-existent the second half of the season. Okay, I like what we have with some of these young linebackers, and then so I don't feel that's that bad. When you look at losing Miles, I think DeAndre Swift and Penny are going to be able to replace that, and could actually end up being an upgrade. I think Jalen Carter in the long run is an upgrade over Hargrave. Maybe not year one, but in the next 3-4 years, he will be. So I think the Eagles are set. I mean, I think the Eagles, especially offensively, everybody's back.
Here's somebody said in the chat too. Somebody said, Slay better show up. I think you have 2 really good cornerbacks right now. I feel like you had these corners react more than really attack at certain times, and I felt like, I don't know if you agree with me, Philly. I feel like with Slay, they kind of strayed away from him shadowing the number 1 receiver beginning of a game. Like they kind of strayed away from that. And I felt like that's where you keep him busy.
They did. They should have done it. I mean, they did it in week 2 versus Minnesota, and he shuts down Justin Jefferson. Why he's not shadowing the number 1 guy every week, I don't understand it. It made no sense to me. Eagles Lane says, all of a sudden, TJ Edwards is Ray Lewis. I know. I mean, really, it's like crazy. I mean, look, he was good, but it wasn't that. He's not somebody I don't think we can't replace. I mean, look, you draft Nakobe Dean. You talk about not liking a redshirted guy. I mean, would you like to redshirt Nakobe Dean or let the guy play? I want him to play. I mean, this guy was supposed to be a first-round pick. He was top 20 ranked player up until the draft, and he drops. I want him on the field. I want him on the field. I think we'll be okay at linebacker. And I think that we could always add a linebacker if need be. I think the bigger question, well, not even a bigger question, but I think you got a lot of moving parts at safety and linebacker. But, I mean, those were where most of your losses on the roster came. The offense is pretty much good to go. We have the same offense as last year.
It necessarily doesn't mean that we're weak at that, even at both positions, but they just have to let training camp pan out, joint practices with the Colts and the Bears, and just see how it pans out. We can't panic and just start signing guys. Like they got to see what they got. Sean Desai, I have trust to see what he could do, and we're gonna find out easily. You know what I mean? Like you have your first game, you have a mini bye week after that, and then you have like 2 games. You got 2 back-to-back primetime games going to your second and third week. So it's going to be we're going to see what this defense is all about. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'll know.
Exactly. Beat Blade says, I would have kept CJ Gardner-Johnson over Darius Slay. I really think that's what they wanted to do. I think they wanted to sign Bradbury back and bring CJ Gardner-Johnson back and let Slay walk. But I think once CJ Gardner-Johnson was asking for a lot of money, the Eagles said, to hell with it. And I think he priced himself out. I do. It's crazy to me. Eagles Alliance, the NFC East ops are praying for our downfall. They're hoping that all these things matter. Like, I'm really glad that our defensive coordinator is gone. Like, I don't know about like, I think Sean Desai is going to be better. It can't be any worse than Jonathan Gannon. He was horrible. We could have had 90 sacks if he would have blitzed a little more. I'm like happy about the defensive coordinator. Steichen, listen, you're going to lose something with Steichen. Steichen's a good coach. I'm not saying, but I think with having your head coach still in the offensive mind, and then Brian Johnson there, who's been there since this coaching staff came in, I think they'll be okay. I think we're okay.
Yeah, true.
I don't hear Cowboy fans crying about their offensive coordinator being gone. Dallas fans wish they could say they choked the Super Bowl. They choke in the wild card or divisional round and trash talk about the Eagles. Crap is funny. It's crazy. It really is. It is crazy. Shane Steichen did a great job. He did. But Gannon was horrible. I couldn't stand Gannon. We
saw the signs. We saw this. We were doing the shakedowns early in the season. We were seeing the signs, and people were saying, "We're winning. We're winning. We're fine." We saw it.
Right.
Saw it.
Right. I will take my chances on Sean Desai, and everything that we heard about him when he was in Chicago and what he was able to do with the Bears with not a lot of talent, I'll take him and the chances with him, even though we don't know for sure. I'll take my chances over a guy who doesn't even have his head in the game in a Super Bowl, that is out looking at houses, breaking rules, and not even caring about the team get ready to play in their biggest game. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. I will.
Yeah, I agree.
In fact, Eric Allen belongs in Hall of Fame 100,000%. So it's going to be interesting, though. I mean, is there anything else we're missing? I feel like we've got a lot of stuff in here over the last hour and a half. We've already an hour and a half in. We got a lot of stuff. And Gannon cost us Vic Fangio, by the way. People forget that too.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We would have Vic Fangio would not have. He would have been the defensive coordinator if the Eagles knew Gannon was breaking the rules and going to take the job in Arizona. Radiation Bots, remember for 11 months of Dingbat Nation, thank you so much. He goes, do you think we will be better against the run? Yes, I think we will be better against the run. And I think we'll be better against the run because I think people are going to be really shocked how good Jordan Davis is going to be this year. I think Jordan Davis will be even better than he was.
Hopefully, I'm hoping
a year ago.
Yeah,
I definitely do. I think he will. But I mean, it's going to be interesting.
You got good depth. I mean, the defensive tackle is nice. But Milton Williams getting better every year. Kadavius Street's a nice signing as well. That will get you maybe a few sacks.
Yeah.
Be disruptive.
Brandon Cat says Steichen was overrated. Oh, okay. He thinks he was overrated. He ran Hurts too much and he got too conservative with leads. I think that there was you are right in that there was a problem early in the year. I'd say first half of the season, and we talked about this. The Eagles didn't know how to win. Like, they didn't know how to put teams away. They would take their foot off the gas way too early, and teams came back. I mean, they were blowing Dallas out 20-0, and they took their foot off the gas. It should have been 42-3 if they just kept it on. And I think it took them a while to kind of figure that out. As far as running Hurts too much, I don't know if that was Gannon. I mean, if that was Steichen or if that is what's his face, our head coach, just wanting Sirianni wanting him to incorporate him running the ball. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out this year a lot more.
I think another problem too is, I mean, because that's just a nitpick at Steichen. I think another problem too is like there was 5 to 6 games where they barely ran Miles Sanders in the first half of games as well.
Yeah.
Didn't run him enough.
Yeah. I don't know what it was about Miles. They didn't use Miles the way you think they would.
No,
I just don't think they trusted him. I really do. Our foot didn't get knocked off the gas. We had a problem. It was almost every week in the first half of the season where we just take big, huge leads and we would just back off in the second half, and teams would claw themselves back in. And I would say about the second half of the season, the Eagles kind of learned how to fix that, and it wasn't a problem at the end of the year.
I mean, Desai took a defense with the Bears in 21, and obviously was a apprentice to Vic Fangio for a few years as a quality control guy for a few years for the Bears. So he took a team. And so what do you do with a team that has less talent? You have to be more creative, and I think he did a good job in 21 of creating getting pressure on quarterbacks and being just creative in those ways. And this is the best roster he's going to have defensively. I mean, he's going to have everything at his disposal. And I'm excited to see what he does. He wants it to be violent. He wants, to disrupt and get in the heads of quarterbacks. He wants this defense to be feared. I mean, I like what he says, but like I said, I have to see it.
I agree. And he wants to bring back that Eagles defense attitude that represented the city in which they played. I really like that. And also the thing that you hear a lot about him, and we heard about him before he was hired, was that he's very good at taking players and figuring out what they do well and using that to their advantage. He did that in Chicago when they didn't have a lot of talent, and like you said, they were manufacturing the pass rush. If that's the case, and he can do that with these guys who are talented, I think it'll be a big improvement. Now, obviously, we've got to see what they do. Are you guys friends with? Yeah, of course I'm friends with Lord Brunson. That's my guy. Absolutely. 100%. I think he's a great guy. I spoke to him not too long ago in text. But no, I love him. You
had a
just
great stream with him, by the way. It was
right?
It was great.
Yeah, absolutely great guy. I've been waiting so long for Jim Johnson defense to come back to Philly. Never the same without him. Yeah, it was awesome. Absolutely. Because I love Weed in here. I don't see him.
Yeah, he is. I saw him.
What's up? I love Weed. I keep seeing your name on there, but I don't see you. What about the dude that told me that something called me bacon? What he literally didn't pull one text out. I didn't see one text what he said we're talking about.
No, nothing.
Teddy Cancun Cruz, what's up? 500. I tried to watch the Super Bowl, but it made me sick to my stomach. Well, I'm hoping that loss lights a fire up their ass. Yeah, me too. I've only watched the Super Bowl that one time. I've never watched the replay of it. I probably never will.
Yeah, funny thing is, Terrell Edmonds was on a podcast during a little bit after OTAs and said that like the players do talk about it a little tiny bit. They don't talk about it too much, but there is a fire there. They're a little pissed off. I know there's a lot of situations where that Super Bowl, not just the play, but a lot of outside stuff as well that went into that game, and I feel like it's going to be on their mind a little bit to get back. So.
I feel like the whole thing with Gannon was a bigger scandal than that we are led to believe. I feel like it was swept under the rug. I mean, isn't it interesting that came out right before we started the draft, and we didn't even know nobody knew what was going on. It was like, what are they talking about? I think the NFL covered that up because it was so outrageous, and the Eagles could say that they were cheated, and not by the Chiefs, but by Gannon and the Arizona Cardinals interfering with the Super Bowl. And they covered it up and swept.
Do you think he was reprimanded after that game? Do you think they just? I mean, there's no way that Gannon walks away from that Super Bowl and like nothing is said to him by.
I think the Eagles were furious. I think they were pissed off, but I think the NFL made him sweep it under the rug because if you remember, Howie goes on a podcast. I think it was Pro Football Talk,
right?
Podcast, and they were asking him about it, and he was getting red in his face, and he didn't want to answer it. You could tell the question was bothering him because I think the Eagles were forced to do what the league wanted for the goodness for the well-being of the league, and they swept it under the rug. And I don't think the Eagles got nearly the compensation. I mean, this came out 10 minutes before the draft started, so everybody would be distracted. We're sitting there going, what are the Eagles? Why are the Eagles moving up? Remember, we're trying to figure it out. Nobody knew. I think it was a cover-up. Radiation Bot, thank you for super chat. He goes, why all of a sudden everyone's bringing on throwbacks after the Eagles talk about the Kelly Green? Everybody sees money in it, There's a few teams I think the throwbacks look really good. Like I really like the New England Patriots throwbacks with the white helmet with the Patriot hiking the ball. I don't know why they ever would get rid of that. And I think the Titans one having the Houston Oilers is cool. But
everybody's really bringing the throwbacks out. Everybody is.
But I think the Eagles are doing more. I think with the word mark, I think the Eagles are getting ready for an upgrade on their whole jersey. I'm not saying right now, but I think within another year it's coming. But we'll see. But I don't know. I mean, we're over an hour and a half in, man. Thank you everybody for being here. I didn't know we'd go this long, but we haven't talked in so long.
Yeah.
We're back. We are back. Is there anything else, man, you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I mean, so next week the only 2 days the beat writers are going to be at practice, as what I know so far, is Wednesday and Friday. So, and then after next week, then they should be there regularly. So next week there'll only be 2 days. Should be hopefully a lot to talk about next week. I could be wrong, but I think from Ed Kratz, I saw his tweet that I think it was only Wednesday and Friday that they were going to be at practice. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were practicing Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but the media was going to be there 2 days or something like that.
Yeah, Wednesday, Friday,
and then Saturday is a day off. And then I had to take my kids I'm taking my kids ashore on Saturday because I promised them before the season starts. But yeah, Joe, tomorrow between 1 and 4, buddy. Yeah, I'll be there 1 and 4.
Oh, someone said, Barron said, I want Ngakwe. Still out there.
Yes. We didn't even talk about him.
No.
Yeah. 500. Is it true your wife won't let you smoke cigars in the house? I mean, you want the truth, or do you want me to say what I say? If I'm saying what I'm saying, no, she'll kick my ass, and I'll be laying in my own blood and piss, knocked out if I try. The truth is I do what I want to do. I run the show, but out of respect.
Are you whispering?
I don't do it.
Is she home right now?
Yeah. Oh, hi, baby. Hi, Mom. But I do what I want to do. That's what I'm going to tell her when she comes home.
I run this house. I run this house.
No, I would do what I want, but nah. But what were we saying before I was distracted with that? Oh, Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he's sitting out there. 9.5 sacks. I think the Eagles, I mean, to me, it seems like that would be the perfect signing for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Look, here's my wife. She's laughing. There you go. She's laughing. See, she knows. But, yeah. Hi, baby. I'm in trouble. I better not go downstairs, though. No, I'm just kidding. No, I would love to see Yannick Ngakoue. I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, I feel like with the third rotation, like you have Graham, you have Reddick, you have Sweat, and you have Nolan Smith, and now you have Derek Barnett, and complete that third rotation with Ngakoue being a rotational guy. Like I know he's not good against the run, but I'm not. He's not here for that. You know, he wants to find a home. Right. So I think he wants something longer than a 1-year deal. I think he wants something maybe if the Eagles sign him for a 2-year deal, and he hired Rosenhaus as his agent, so there might be some money involved now. But the longer he waits, the value, I don't know what he's going to get. He's averaging 7 to 9 sacks a season, so with different teams.
He's got 9.5. He's 28 years old, right? I think he's 28. If you sign him to a 3-year deal, I say about $7 million a year. Why not do it? Because you're going to probably lose Brandon Graham in another year. So if you could do it, he's a good guy to have. To me, it seems like that would be something the Eagles would do. But I think being at where we're at now, I think they probably want to go into camp, see what they have and what they need to work with, and then make moves accordingly, you know. James McBride, David Super Chat, he goes, what will the starting D lineup look like? I'll guess early on in the year. Here's my guess. You'll have Graham, Carter, Fletcher Cox, right? And then Josh Sweat. Those will be your guys on the defensive line. Of course, then you have Hassan Reddick, as you know, he'll be on the edge. But I think Fletcher Cox starts early, and I think by the end of the year Jordan Davis starts. Now there is a chance that it could be Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, and then you rotate Fletcher Cox.
That's what I'm hoping.
Situation. That would be the best case scenario. But I'll just say until we see more, I'll say that I probably Fletcher Cox. But I think Fletcher Cox also, though, I think because he was talking about last year getting too many reps. He thought he was wearing down. And then, of course, Jordan Davis gets hurt and they have to go sign Joseph and Sue. So he may want lesser snaps anyways. But I think I think that's what you'll see. I think that's how it'll be.
I think they have enough defensive linemen right now to where he's not going to be playing 70%. He'll play 30. If you could keep him in the 35 to 45 range, he's good. So.
Yeah. Wolfen Effect says the two keys to Eagles defense will be Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. Big shoes to fill, important position. I agree, especially Jordan. Like I think Jordan Davis is a game changer because I think if Jordan Davis is what we project him to be, what he should be, I think it's going to take this defense to a whole nother level.
True. I agree.
I really do. So we will see. But yeah, guys. I don't know what this tempo, dude, man. You talk about Fletcher's Cox for. I don't know what's up with that, man. What's up with tempo 717? That's definitely Mark Holmes' burner account, dude. I have no doubt in my mind. That's Mark Holmes' the burner account. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. Yeah, is there anything else, man, to say on the way out?
No, I mean, I'm happy that the shakedowns have started again. I feel back into it, refreshed, ready to go, and we'll have more news next week. So
absolutely, yeah. Hit that like. Make sure you guys subscribe to both channels. Link is in the description on my channel. We had about 500 people here. good for the first return before camp even starts, and then we'll be back, man. Definitely. With that said, guys, we are going to get out of here. As always, let the Cowboys meltdowns begin. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, we had one.
Yo, you gotta be motherfucking kidding.
You gotta be kidding me. We have no time for one more play.
Look at this motherfucker
What are you doing?
running from
What
a.
are you doing? What was that bullshit?
That is not right.
Oh, that's some bullshit. What was that? We had enough time for one more play.
Opportunity to win that game at the end.
But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us.
I'm upset, but
The brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried.
only Cowboys games.
You
The brother
literally.
screwed us. The brother screwed us.
It's going to end